Well, hello there, friends. You've caught me playing one of my favorite games from my childhood. Obviously, the world is on lockdown for a lot of different reasons right now, and I think a lot of us have time for games that we need to get through on our backlog, or old favorites like this, Need for Speed Underground 2, which I would argue was the best old school Need for Speed game. I know a lot of people would say Most Wanted, but I'm not here to entertain that debate. Actually, I'm here to talk to you about how to make this game go from the PS2 graphics that you see right over here to what you see on my screen right now. And we're gonna do that after I tell you about today's video sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by Drop and their super affordable, great headphones known as the COS GMR 54X ISO gaming headset. This thing, you can pick it up on their website right now by using the link in the video description. COS is a lesser known brand, but every single product that I've used from them sounds amazing. This closed back design makes sure that you keep all of the audio that you're trying to process in, like with Need for Speed Underground. You can hear the EA tracks so freaking well, keeps them so clear. You're truly immersed in the game like you're your street underground racer already. You got positional cues to make sure that you can hear enemies in other games, whatever you're trying to play, and they've reduced some tension in the already lightweight headband for extra comfort, and it comes with a cord splitter, a boom mic so they can do chat if you want to. You have a detachable boom mic, you have an 8-foot gaming cable that comes with it, a 4-foot headphone cable. Everything is so good about this, and the price on their website is super affordable for just how good these headphones are for the price. They are tremendous value gaming headphones for sure. The microphone sounds really good, and check them out at the link in the video description. They cost GM54Xs. They are supremely delicious on my ears for an amazing price. So I know there's gonna be a lot of arguments about Need for Speed Underground 2 versus Most Wanted. The reason Underground 2 is the best is because it's the first one to introduce the open world concept. Need for Speed Underground had great soundtrack, it had a great racing system, but this introduced the open world. Most Wanted enhanced it, came out with cops and all of the add-ons that you get, but the nighttime feel of Underground 2, plus the fact that it's open world-ish for as much as a 2004 game could be, and the fact that it has a banging soundtrack, which I cannot play here because of copyright restrictions, but it introduced me to bands such as Unwritten Law and Rise Against, and a lot of songs that I still listen to this day because of this game's impact in my life. And then it has other bangers such as Nobody by Skindred. It has Queens of the Stone Age, and it has that one Snoop Dogg song, Riders of the Storm. When I played this on PS2 back in 2004, I just absolutely fell in love. And I actually would put Carbon quite close to Underground 2, and I found out just recently that the developer behind Underground 2 also made Carbon, so it makes sense that I would appreciate Carbon quite a lot. And Carbon went back to some of the roots that I appreciate about Underground 2, which is the nighttime racing that Most Wanted didn't exactly have. So we're gonna show you how to take this 2004 game, turn it from 0 all the way up to 11, and make sure that you can enjoy a game that looks as gorgeous as you remember it looking, even though it never actually looked that good. Okay, so first up, I have to be completely honest with you guys. I actually anticipated doing this video way back in August of 2019, but as you could possibly guess, my life got turned upside down because of my son's medical issues, so I never ended up getting around to making this video the way I wanted to. However, we did record an intro to it in South Africa, and you guys can watch that right now.
What's he doing?
I don't know. Maybe he's got racing fever again.
It's a pity that he drives a Prius.
So that was a lot of fun to make. Unfortunately, the video never played out. However, now with a lot of people having a lot of time on their hands and potentially revisiting games, I wanted to talk about Need for Speed Underground 2 and how you can get it to look really good, how you can get it to play at 4K, and how you can even get it ray traced. So I would consider this the remastered and ray traced version of Need for Speed Underground 2 that I'm currently playing right now. And if you just get the game on PC, which you can't really anymore, it's not on Origin, and I'm not gonna tell you how to get the game, but I'll leave links in the video description for you to just check out as to, the sources that you could look into for where the game might be out on the internet, but only play it if you have a legal copy. Otherwise, nothing matters here. But you can see that the original version of this game on PC looks okay. It's definitely not as bad as the PS2 equivalent that you can find if you emulate it right now, or if you play it on a PS2 by itself, but it's not great. The ground is obviously not high definition whatsoever. Everything about it just kind of screams old school, and it's even in 4:3. So that's where some mods come in to make it so that it supports widescreen, first of all, but then we can also get some higher textures to make it look good on a high resolution monitor. Currently, right now, I'm playing it on a 1440p 144 hertz monitor. This is the Razer Raptor 27-inch, and I can tell you that it looks phenomenal. This is like, I'm not seeing any issues. So the way you do that is by going to some of the links that I've provided in the video description. There are 2 different mods that I've found out there that give you better textures. I found that the Dragozool one that is linked down below makes things look really good if you install it. However, I prefer the high vision one. If we just take a look at the asphalt that you drive over, I think that the high vision one has better quality textures. The walls that you inevitably will crash into look much better, at least in my opinion. So I prefer the high vision texture mod that you have. So to get this installed, you just go to the link that's provided in the video description. You download it, you install it, and you make sure that you run TextMod every single time that you boot the game. Otherwise, you will not get everything set up properly. You have to move files to the specified folders that are where you installed the Need for Speed Underground 2 game, and then you're able to get it installed. You have to make sure that TextMod is running every single time, otherwise it's just plain boring old Need for Speed Underground 2. So once you have that installed, you run TextMod, you set up whatever TextMod you want to use, whether it's the Dragozool one or the high vision one like I prefer. It'll take a little while for the game to boot. Typically on my NVMe SSD, it takes about 2 or 3 minutes for the game to launch. However, because of how much better the game looks, it's worth it to me in order to play it. I love how there's like these old school advertisements. AutoZone, Best Buy, there's a Singular wireless advert in this game, and Singular hasn't been around for ages. It merged with Altel, and then I think Altel got bought out by Sprint. I may be wrong there, but just seeing all of the nostalgia stuff here in Need for Speed Underground 2 is amazing. So you have it running, and then the game just looks good by itself. But I mentioned that this game could be ray traced. And this is possible thanks to a thing known as Reshade mods. So you can go to the link in the video description, pick up Reshade, and activate things such as adaptive sharpening, increase the clarity, anti-aliasing. You can change things about the game with Reshade automatically. However, what you cannot do is get ray tracing on it. That is going to be a paid purchase that you'll have to do to a Patreon for somebody who developed Ray Trace Global Illumination for various games. It works on DX9, DX10, DX11, and even other games that you can use. So you can have ray tracing in games such as Need for Speed Underground 2. You just have to get the Ray Trace Global Illumination add-on for Reshade. But once you do that, you have to check out the guy's Patreon, you have to get beta access, and then you can download the file that you can install Reshade and then activate the Ray Trace Global Illumination. And personally, comparing high vision with high vision plus ray tracing side by side, I personally think that the ray traced effects are much, it just gives it a nicer feel to it. It's hard to describe exactly what it does without getting too detailed, but you can see there's more definition in the lighting, there's more definition in a lot of things. The color just feels better. The game pops a bit more when you have ray tracing on it. However, you don't necessarily need that. You can use Reshade and use things such as the sharpening and anti-aliasing to make it look better by itself. But I personally prefer these older games with ray tracing because then they just look so freaking good. So it's actually pretty simple. You don't have to get ray tracing. Ray tracing is a $5 once-off purchase. You sign up for the guy's Patreon, you get the beta access, you cancel your Patreon after that if you want, but you pay up front, and that way you get the beta access. You don't get continuing support as he continues to come out with new versions of the Ray Trace Global Illumination for Reshade, so you have to deal with the fact that you only have it once, but you can get it for just a $5 purchase. Otherwise, you can play this completely for free now. You can get the new 4K textures that you can play in this game. You can get it looking really good, almost almost as good as a modern game. It actually is very close. There are a few things about this game that don't look as good, such as the distant buildings. Those textures haven't been enhanced whatsoever. Planes off in the distance aren't as good, but the road looks crisp. The cars look really good, and I actually didn't notice much of a difference in the mods with how the cars look. They're mostly the same, but the cars look good regardless. It's not, 2020 game quality, but considering the fact that this is the best Need for Speed game of all time, it's hard to argue with wanting to play this over anything that's come out from Need for Speed in the recent future, recent history, recent times. And I'm sure some of you are asking, how do these mods impact the performance of the game? Well, I actually can't tell you because it runs at 120 frames per second locked on my RTX 2060 Super, and it continues to run at 120 frames per second when I put the mods on, so I doubt it's really affecting anything at all. The only frames per second hit that I got was when I introduced ray tracing, and it dropped my average of 120 down to 100. So you can still get really high refresh rate gaming with this, and especially if you have something better than a 2060 Super, you can get a bit more performance out of this than you otherwise would. So that's the basic gist of how you can get Need for Speed Underground 2 to look so much better than it does at stock. You can make some improvements on it that it makes the game worth playing again. And I was streaming this back in August/September with just a mouse and keyboard playing that way, and playing on a racing wheel just changes it so much. I love playing this game. I love the racing aspect. This just brings new life to something that is so fond in my memory of growing up. Let us know if there's any other games that you want us to check out to see if we can give you tips and tricks on how to remaster them, get the better textures, get better refresh rate, better performance out of it, or just kind of bring life to games that are old favorites. Let us know down in the comments if you have any game suggestions that you want us to check out. We can maybe do this as a series. I know that I personally love taking games, making them look better, especially games like this, which I played when I was growing up, and now bring me so much joy to play once again. So I'm gonna keep racing, and you guys can remember about today's video sponsor. Don't forget to check out the link in the video description for the drop plus cost headphones, the GMR 54X ISOs. I love them. They are great value. They're great for this guy. There's a thing up there. This guy's wearing the headphones, not me. Pick it up down below. That's it. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. I'm going to keep playing the game. I'm going to get my Audi TT, which was my favorite car in this game, and I will see you next time. Crap. Bye.